Hello everyone, welcome to a passage called Undoing Our Emotions. You see, the title is not telling much about what the main idea is. The main idea is different from topic. The topic is something that's repeatedly seen or mentioned, like that's here emotions, I believe. But what is the goal? Like how undo means to, you know, to reverse it, to restore it, right? So I'm going to have to read 180 young women wrote essays describing why they wanted to join a convent. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. Religious community of nuns. Years later, a team of psychological researchers came across these autobiographies, and these researchers were seeking material to confirm earlier studies hinting at the link between having a vocabulary and a low risk of Alzheimer's in old age. Interesting. So, all right. Yeah, let's see. A conclusion that it's possible to train people to deal with anxiety. All right. Conclusion that that it's possible to train people with anxiety. Explanation that of the way negative emotions affect what people concentrate on. Experiment that showed positive outlook can help people adjust to stressful situation. All right. And conclusive evidence that lifespan can be influenced. Discovery beyond what researchers were investigating. An experiment that where the nature of material seen by participants affected the way they performed the task. All right. So I'm going to continue reading. So match the names with the statements. All right. From test point of view, you need to remember these names in order. Oh, all right. People whose daily lives are stressful often have surprisingly positive emotions. The body's reaction to crisis may trigger a life-threatening event. All right. It's unusual, not common, to have a study group whose circumstances are very alike. So circumstances are very alike. The reasons for link between positive emotions along a lifespan have not been established. They haven't established the reasons. In earlier tribes, all right, one word on negative emotions gave humans something they needed to deal with emergencies. Fredrickson believes that a passing positive emotion can lead to enduring assets such as something which is useful in times to come. Believes that both individuals something benefit from positive emotions. All right, so I'm going to look at questions 24 to 26 when they talk about negative emotions in early tribes, more specifically earlier tribes, because this type of question comes in order. But every time one of these names comes across, I'm going to have to look at all of them. But again, the same is true. So there are two questions that you always have to keep an eye on. That's one of them here, one of them here. Let's go. 3 generations ago, 180 young women wrote essays describing why they wanted to join a convent. And what they found was more amazing. The researchers found that although young women were in their early 20s when they wrote their essays, the emotions expressed were predictive of how long they would live. So their emotions, they were looking for something, but they found something else. So the emotions expressed they're telling how long they're going to live. Those with upbeat autobiography lived more, who were emotional, who were excited, than those whose language were more neutral. This woman, Deborah Bonner, a psychologist at the University of Kentucky, who spearheaded the study, who controlled the study probably, noted that the results were particularly striking because all the members lived similar lives and eliminating many variables that normally make it difficult to interpret longevity studies. What made it so fascinating is that they had similar lifestyles, which was like here they were talking about it. It's unusual. It's particularly striking. That means unusual, because all the members of the convent, that study group, their lifestyles was similar. So there were like many 22 is going to be A. It was phenomenal finding, she says. A researcher gets a finding like that maybe once in a lifetime. However, she points out that no one has been able to determine why positive emotions might have such life-extending effects. But no one has yet, the reasons, she points out, no one has been able to determine why positive emotions might have such life-extending effects. That could be A again. I like 23 as an A. So here, because no one has yet been able to determine that these reasons have not been established, I like to think that it's A, but let's go. Conclusion that you can, anxiety, they didn't talk about anxiety here, right? So you finish A, you look at all the options too. Explanation why negative emotions, they didn't talk about negative emotions, how emotions were predictive, that showed a positive outlook can help stressful situation, that lifespan, there wasn't conclusive evidence discovery beyond what researchers were investigating. I think that's A, 18, because they were investigating if there were hints, but what happened in what they found was even more amazing. So that's 18, I believe. 18 is going to be A because they were not really looking for this, but they ended up finding it. An experiment that nature of materials didn't by affect the way they performed the task. No, nothing about that. So again, you see the two question sets are usually this question set and the other question set, the second question set, matching names. Every time one of the names comes across, you're going to have to look at all of the options. Barbara Fredrickson, professor of psychology at the University of Michigan, believes that part of the answer is the undo effect. Okay, how do you do that? According to this theory, positive emotions help you live longer by shutting down the effects of negative ones. Okay? Fredrickson's theory begins with observation that negative emotions like fear and stress enhance our flight or fight response to very real threats. All right, so flight or fight response to very real threats. However, when the emergency is gone, negative emotions produce lingering effects. Fredrickson's theory begins with observation. Negative emotions, it enhances that to very good threats. However, when the emergency is gone, negative emotions produce lingering effects. So the effects like stay with us. Brooks Gump, is that another person, distress researcher at State University of New York, explains that one of these effects is excessive cardiovascular reactivity. He says this reactivity is related to excessive vigilance, like when you are really careful, instead of being constantly on guard for potential damage. Not only is it physically training to live in a perpetual state of high vigilance, but high cardiovascular activity could be linked to increased chance of heart attack. All right. So it could, if it leads to a heart attack, that's life-threatening event. So I think that's C for question number 21. All right, 21 is going to be, I believe it's going to be the body's reaction. If it has high cardiovascular reactivity, that's body's reaction. And when does it do it? When you have negative emotion in your, body responding like to threat, flight or fight response, but it's higher, it is higher if you have negative emotions, and that one of these effects is excessive cardiovascular reactivity, right? So I believe, yes, life-threatening event, like it's like, it means heart attack. So the answer is B. But what about this one? Conclusion that you can train anxiety, that wasn't mentioned. Explanation of the way negative emotions affect what people concentrate on. Explanation of the way negative affects what people concentrate on. Could be here. An experiment that showed how a positive outlook can help people adjust to a stressful situation. Conclusive evidence, experiment that the nature of a material seen by participants affect the way they perform a task. Well, could be here. They did kind of talk about negative emotions. I'm gonna have to come back to 15. Could possibly be B, but again, nothing else, honestly. Fredrickson believes. Do we have Fredrickson? That's the second person. Positive emotions work their magic by producing rapid unwinding of pent-up tension, restoring the system to normal. People who quickly bounce back from stress often speed the process by harnessing such emotions, amusement in that, she says. To test her theory, Fredrickson told a group of student volunteers that they had only a few minutes to prepare a speech that would be critiqued by the experts. After letting the students get nervous about that, then told them that they wouldn't actually have to deliver their speech. She monitored heart rates and blood pressure. Not surprisingly, all the students got nervous about it, but those who viewed the experiment with good-humored excitement saw their heart rates return to normal much more quickly than those who are angry about being fooled. So basically, she told the volunteer students, you guys will be now assessed, and then obviously that's like not a good experience because you are being critiqued by experts. But those who were staying positive, their heart rates went back to normal. In a second experiment, Fredrickson reported that even those who normally were slow to bounce back could be coached to recover more quickly by being told the experiments rather than a threat. All right, that's here. You can teach them. All right, so I like this answer. So it is possible to train people to deal with anxiety. Reported that Fredrickson reported even those who are normally slow to bounce back could be coached. That means they can train people by being told the experiment as a challenge rather than, you should see it as a challenge rather than an experiment. So that's, you need to see it a challenge rather than a threat. See, an experiment that showed how a positive outlook can help people adjust to stressful situations faster than others. Could be that. Surprising, all the students who got nervous about others, but those who viewed the experiment with good humor and excitement saw their hearts return to much more quickly than those who viewed it full. Again, those who viewed the experiment with good humor and excitement, that means more quickly, so that's going to be 16, I believe. This one is going to be 14. 16 and 14, I believe, CC from the following lines. Alright, but what about one of these names though? Again, Fredrickson, we have daily lives stressful. There's nothing about daily lives though. Let's continue. How many paragraphs? More paragraphs. Fredrickson believes that positive emotions make people more flexible and creative. Negative emotions, she says, give a heightened sense of detail that makes us hypersensitive to minute clues related to the source of threat, but also produce tunnel vision, which we ignore anything related to the danger. Fredrickson speculated that just as positive emotions can undo cardiovascular effects of negative, they also might reverse the attention nerving effects of negative feelings, broadening our perspectives. Alright, so positive emotions can undo cardiovascular effects of negative ones. So negative emotions could be kind of countered with positive emotions, but these positive emotions also reverse the attention narrowing effects of negative feelings. So it could broaden our horizons. So could it be another answer here? Explanation of the way negative emotions affect what people concentrate on. Yeah, I think this is negative emotions give a heightened sense of detail that makes us hypersensitive to minute clues. We tend to focus on minute clues. I think that's 15. So that makes us hypersensitive to minute. It also produces tunnel vision. I believe that's D. So, to verify their theory, Fredrickson showed a group of students some film clips, some frightening clips, some humorous ones, some peaceful ones. They then did a matching test in which they were shown a simple drawing, asked which two of the other drawings it most resembled. Okay, so they showed some clips, some frightening clips, some humorous ones, and peaceful ones. And then they did a matching test in which they were shown a simple drawing. Okay, they were shown a simple drawing, asked which two of the drawings it most resembled. Okay, they saw a frightening clip, humorous one, peaceful one. They then did matching tests in which they were shown as to which drawings resembled, which of the two drawings it most resembled. So they're showing one drawing and they showed out which one is it similar to. Well, designed so that people would tend to give answer if they focus on details and another answer if they focus on the big picture. The results confirm Fredrickson's suspicion that positive emotions affect our perceptions. Students who had seen the humorous and peaceful ones were more likely to match objects according to broad impressions. Those who watched. Interesting. Interesting. An experiment where the nature of material is seen by the participant affect the way they perform a task. Yeah, they did. I think that's E. That's the one, E, because they were given a task of matching it. So that the nature of material. What's the nature of material? Well, certain ones were frightening, certain ones were humorous, certain ones were peaceful. And participants, they were, asked to choose a match the picture. So that was the case. So this fits with the role that positive emotions might have played in early human tribes. Fredrickson says negative emotions provided focus, which was important for surviving in life or death situations. It provided focus. Okay. Negative emotions gave humans focus. So the answer is going to be focus. That's going to be 24. But the ability to feel positive emotions was of long-term value because it opened the mind to new ideas. Humor is a good example of this. She says the emotions are transient. Humor is a good example of this. She believes the passing positive can lead to an enduring asset such as something which is useful in times to come. The emotions are transient, but resources are durable. If you're building a friendship through being playful, that friendship is lasting research. So while good feelings may pass, friendships remain. On an individual level, phrase there's that taking time and things to do that make you feel happy is not simply self. Not only are those emotions good for the individual, but for what? I think it's friendship. So the answer is friendship. So it's what's the useful thing? If you build friendship, the emotions but the research are durable. If you build building friendship through being playful, your friendship is a lasting resource. If it's a resource, that's an asset. That's a good thing. So the answer is going to be 25. All right. Other researchers intrigued by Susan Folkman of the university has spent 2 decades studying how people cope with long-term stress such as bereavement, like when someone dies, or caring for a chronically ill child. Contrary to what to an extent she says, these people frequently experience positive emotions. All right. These emotions are not there by accident. Mother Nature does not work that way. I think they give a person time out from the intense stress to restore resources. That's very consistent with the believes that both individuals and benefits from positive emotions. Who benefits from that? I think the ill person. It's not only good for the individual, but I think that's the answer. But for whom too? Just a second. I think, whatever the answer is here, because that's the real exam paper, and then here the word is missing, but for someone else as well. So let me see the text if that's here. But again, here the same. It just says but it doesn't tell us what. So whatever the word is here, that's the answer for 26. All right. But it's not just good for the individual, but for the other person too. All right. So, but for researchers, maybe whatever the word is. Here, people in daily lives are stressful. Surprisingly, that's chosen why, because these people who are treating chronically ill, contrary to what one may expect, that's surprisingly, these people frequently positive emotions. So that's the answer. 20 is going to be D. So what about here? Conclusive evidence that lifespan can be influenced by emotions, giving from intense stress to risk. This is a very consistent order. Other researchers are intrigued of the university have spent 2 decades studying how people cope with long-term country. These emotions are Mother Nature doesn't work that. I think they are giving a person time out from intense stress to restore resources and keep going. This is very consistent. Okay, lifespan though. Okay, let's continue reading because I seem to have missed it. Okay, let's go. Conclusive evidence though. There are conclusive evidence. Mm-hmm. I don't know, like conclusive evidence about lifespan can be influenced by emotions. There's no such word about conclusive evidence. Like conclusive means like they are definite. It could have been here from the missing part, it could be F from the missing part. It's definitely not from A, I believe, because they did talk about lifespan, how long they would live, but they didn't say, was it inconclusive though? It didn't say that. Okay, B believes that part of the answer is undue effect. According to this theory, positive emotions help you live longer by shutting down. Begins with the observation, however, with the emergencies, like stress researcher, this relatively is the state of being constantly on guard for potential. Not only is it physically draining, blah blah blah. Frederickson believes that positive emotions work their magic by producing rapid unwilling people who quickly bounce back from stress. After letting the students get threat, told them they wouldn't actually have to deliver their speech. All right, I think that could be there, honestly, an F. Creative, but that also produced tunnel vision. Fredrickson speculated just positive emotions. Negative, they also, to verify, showed up a group of students. They then did a matching test. All right. The results confirmed that, I guess that could be E2 because that's results confirm that suspicion that positive emotions affect our perception. Students with tumors will likely to match observations. That could be kind of results confirmed that. This fits with the role that positive emotions might have played in early human tribes. It could be E, I believe. Conclusive evidence, but there's no conclusive evidence though. I'm looking for synonym. The results confirmed. I like that. So that's why it could be E, but I just don't think there are other clues though.